Heyo guys, hope you're well. Just doing a long speed build this time around, 40-minute video, cut down from about, I think it was 11 hours of footage roughly. Took a while to build this one. So we got the Haunted Mansion Plaza area, so no ride as of yet, and I'm completely unsure what I'm going to do. Whether that be a trackless dark ride, a tracked dark ride, a roller coaster, I'm really unsure at this precise moment in time. Reason being is what I want to do with the park is get the outlay footprint of the whole park in first, so Big Thunder behind us and so forth, but at the same time think about the rides I'm going to progress with, obviously, but main thing was to get focus on getting the areas done first, because a piece count a little bit different to my previous builds. The main reason being is I want it to look right. Obviously it's inspired by Disney, not a Disney park, but it's coming along. So we got the Haunted Mansion. For those that may have been, you probably noticed those awnings, very similar to the real life colorings and so forth. And by the end of the video you'll see that surrounded with the graveyard and so forth. So just on the end here, placing some hydro beams just here, just to finish the end off. Thought I'd double those up. Done the entrances, you can kind of see with the fencing around the side with the half brick railings and so forth. Again, similar to real life, not identical, but very similar. So just putting the foundation in, as I always say, start with the foundation, work your way up. So I'll leave you with this just a little bit. We're starting off with the cobblestone area here, just raising the building up, should we say, of where I kind of want it in the perspective of the area. For those that would like to see the cinematics, please do fast forward to the end of the video. They're available in day and night mode. There will be more to come. See you guys soon. So you would have seen on the doors there, you can actually keep them open. Don't know if you know this, just a little tip for you. Basically, once you've laid them or placed them where you wanted them, you can then click on them and then click them open, and they stay open all the time. You do have to make sure it's in the position, and then it will just do a quick cycle once you go back to play the game. And basically, yeah, you can have them open all the time, and they just give that a little bit more of a spooky kind of feel with the cobblestone. Starting off with the railing, shame about the wooden railing. I may change this, I'm not too sure, it depends how it looks. You could let us know in the feedback. But just placing this around the outer edge first, creating those levels and layers like I always go on about, guys. Chopping, changing between the sizes of the barriers, make sure they look right in the positions. One thing I've noticed with this build, for some reason, a lot of it is off grid, if you know what I mean. I haven't attached the pieces together. I'm not too sure why I've done that. It makes life a lot harder. Subconsciously just clicking away, I guess. But yeah, we've got the plaza here coming along really nicely now, and you'll start to see the brickwork coming in shortly. I'll start off with a door, and the main reason being is it's kind of the focal point to the centre of the building. I only looked at one photo to get an idea for the kind of angle of the actual building from right to left, if you know what I mean, the layout of it. It's not an identical recreation, it's just very similar, like everything else is in this park really. So I hope you enjoy it. The brickwork's going in now, it does get a little bit fiddly, but this is the entire build video. There are a couple of sections that are missed out because for some reason my hard drive went away and it wouldn't record a couple of sections. That's the reason why I haven't released a building video of the green thatched building I've done, because it didn't record even though it said it was recording. So there's a couple of sections in this where it's not done, but I'll let you know which ones. But enjoy the building, guys. I'll catch up with you in just a bit. So after finishing the steps there that lead up to the big front door of the mansion, we're putting this edged brickwork, corner brickwork in. I think it's mainly for castles more than anything, and it's such a shame it's not a little bit smaller on this. So you kind of have to build the building to the size of those, to be honest with you. But they look alright, they came out okay, I think. You guys can let me know. I did change the colour of them shortly, because it all was a little bit too bright grey against the brickwork. So I'm just experimenting with the chimney just here, the chimney breast where you have the greenhouse, should we say, at the bottom there, the cylindrical look as well. Mostly built off grid, this one, and the main reason being is because of the brick. I needed the brickwork, and I didn't want to use any theme maker toolkit or anything like that, or add any more to the part, because it really doesn't help with the frame rate. So you can see I'm just fiddling around with the position of the pieces there, just trying to make the roof, because it's like a two-tier roof kind of situation with this particular building. Quite fiddly, to be honest with you, and it's really hard to do it with grid pieces, but luckily with the brickwork you have those columns of bricks, so as you can see, just moving them there, and they give you the ability to make smaller areas. But windows are going in shortly, I think, if I remember correctly. So, yeah. So onto the windows now, and what I wanted them to do was have this convex look where they're coming out of the building, but also concaved just to the left and right of the main door entrance. And then I was having a fiddle with which kind of windows to actually use, because I couldn't kind of work out how I wanted it. And this is kind of the method I went with, sinking half of one with the twos, and then just having a little play with the big one there. But again, focusing on piece count, didn't want to go too crazy, so using the biggest pieces I can for the look I want to try and create. And these came out quite nice actually, just putting them in the middle there, just fiddling around with them, just lining them all up, and they actually look like one big window, which works quite nicely. And again, you'll see throughout the video just trimming them up there, making sure they've got the correct look about them. And then spent some time on the trim fascia here, because I just could not get anything that had the right finish, the right look. And then we ended up with the castle beam, which we'll see in just a moment. I even tried this because I thought, oh, but then it made it look a little bit more like a kind of like New York skyrise. And then the one I really wanted, which is what I use in just a moment, works perfectly because I can put it on the angle with everything else, and it's a simple design as well. We do get there eventually. Not that one. Tried it, but you had no corner pieces for that, so I could have actually used that one with the corner piece I'm going to use, which is actually on the entrance and exit. So yeah, went with this piece of architecture just here. The reason being, it was a little bit more malleable than the others. So as you can see here, you can kind of get it to work on those convexed outlets of the windows, and that works really well. So that's the first floor done in that respect on this side of the building. And again, you've got this kind of stepped look to it in the real life, so I thought I'd try and incorporate that into the building, no matter how many pieces that took, and no matter how annoying the roof line was, because of the size of the pieces, which you'll see in just a moment. But starting to come through now, you're getting the look of it, so I'm going to shut up now, let you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Apologies for the music, it's all over the place because Filmora has just updated itself, so all my favourites have gone away, and I thought I'd try and use some different stuff nowadays. So hope you enjoy. Any comments, questions, notice anything that needs changing, let me know. Cheers guys. Just placing the haunted archway through here, you'll see I've used it in a number of different ways. I think I've used 4 of them in total, but just filling up, covering up that lighter grey look from the actual original door, and then we're using the kind of, I guess, temple post kind of things, and then just putting a little bit of kind of ironwork in there, giving a little bit more detail. Again, big pieces. That whole door is probably what, 6-7 pieces, not much. You've got the actual, obviously, window with roof just behind it and so forth. So having a play around here just with the look, just kind of moving everything, because you'll notice the roof I could only put 2 above each other because that extra piece on the end. So this is where it then starts to detach itself from the real thing, because I'm trying to just make it work basically. But comes out alright as far as I can see. The end results look nice. A few of you have commented on it. So just working with a little roof line bit just here as well, kind of carrying that generic look of the kind of haunted aspect of how this is set up, with the brickwork, the iron gate and the little fascia trim there, and that kind of worked quite well with trimming the top of the roof line off with the rest of it when it comes through as well. So again, use those corner pieces, can't remember what they're called now. You may catch it, but yeah, it just lines the side of the building perfectly, and then we're just changing this brickwork a little bit. You'll see I go back and forth to the pieces of the building subject to which pieces I use, and main reason being for that is maybe at the particular time when I'm trying to figure something out, I haven't exactly got the inspiration for the bits that I need. And then again, just here, just trimming up that woodwork, keeping those lines going through, covering up all the gaps. I could probably get rid of a couple of pieces there in respect to the brickwork behind the scenes. And then I thought I'd just trim up the front windows there, and then again you can just see this intricate detailed work just here, trying to make it all line up perfectly so there's no distortion. With the roof line done there then on the entrance to the building, thought I'd have a little play with kind of how we could do the gargoyles and just experimenting with fascias and stuff that you saw just putting above the entrance area. And I thought, you know what, let's forget all that. Let's put some ivy up. Basically make it look a little bit more haunted-y, spooky, however you want to look at it. On the ground, on the walls, going up the chimney pillars. Nice little thing you can see if you see it there. I'm actually using the ivy, only bits of it, because I'm hiding half of it, but it kind of fits the wall perfectly. But if you put, it kind of hides half of it, and then you do the same on the other wall, it looks like one piece going up. So again, works quite nicely. Could not quite think how I wanted to do this left hand side, because if you have a look, it's kind of only one 4-meter brick piece, and then I had to result for the haunted roof line. I didn't want to use it, but it went that way. But it came out quite nice because I put a load of furniture underneath in respect to fascia and so forth. I used a big one on this one, so comes along good. I'll leave that with you. I absolutely love how this front entrance, well, front fascia came out just here. All started with just a few bricks, and then you had the upper section put in, which then lined up the lower, and then the way I did the windows around the bottom with that little bit of brick trim just on the edging looks really good. That kind of comes to light a little bit more once the lighting's done at night time. And again, they're just slightly off angle, so working those out. And again, at the same time as building this, just trying to think of the overall look. And then just thought I put those corner pieces on, just gives it another little bit grayer, darker look to it. Yeah, the roof on this has been a bit of a nightmare, and the only reason being is I selected the wrong pieces to use, but I needed it to look a certain way, which thankfully I've pulled off. And then again, here's where I've missed a bit because my hard drive wasn't working. Wasn't recording. It was saying it was recording, but there was nothing there, so can't find the files anywhere, so my apologies for that, guys. And then again, just putting the corner brickwork in just here. Not worried too much about the back of the building because this ride's going to be fully underground anyway, so hopefully I'm not going to have to do any more skin, as to the reason why I've put so much into this. This comes out really well. I like this. And then again, we're just kind of doing the aperture here, just covering it up, making it look all the same as everywhere else. And I couldn't put that bit on the other angle because it would stick out the front of the building. And then again, keeping to the same with the other areas just there, giving them a similar look. Chopping, changing, using all the pieces from all over the place. But yeah, no, guys, I also want to say a massive thank you to all the new subscribers. I forgot to start with that, but yeah, you guys are genuinely appreciated. I never thought this channel would really ever go anywhere, as it was really just to dodgy camera work skills and so forth, just to show you around the parks that I build and the way I do them. Thankfully, you guys are enjoying that, so I genuinely appreciate your subs, your likes, your time and everything, and I'm just glad that my builds inspire other people to build, because I only ever set out to do that, really. And here we are with this fantastic park coming through, so onwards and upwards with the rest of it. Just see how long it takes now. So I'll leave you with this for a little bit, guys. Catch up with you in just a few moments. here I am starting some ground maintenance, should we say, finishing off around the edges, or starting off around the edges, just lining it up for the queue so that the queue is completely square with the awning. All on grid, pretty much, apart from the edging. As you'll see in just a few moments, I'll individually place them around. So I'm just zooming out, having a look around, see how I want it. And I think it came out alright. I'll see what you guys thought, really. But just a massive graveyard, basically, with stones, you know, that kind of graveyard, gothic-y look, really, or haunted look. And that will start to appear at the top of the screen as well in just a moment in front of the building. This was what I got to yesterday evening, and today I did basically all the foliage work and rock work and finished all this off. Lighting as well, which you'll see shortly. So I hope you enjoy. I'll leave you with this. This bit I think stays bland for just a few moments whilst I have a play around with the queue, and then I start off, I think that was when I turned off last night, and then basically you got the plant work and everything, trees, rustic look going around the building in just a few moments, guys. So I hope you enjoy. And if you want to skip to the end, you're more than welcome to see the cinematics. Speak to you soon. Working on some lamps here for the area. I thought I'd have a look because obviously with the doors earlier, it kind of reminded me that you can stop the animatronics in a certain position, so I thought I'd see how these spooky lamps would look with wings hanging out of them. As you can see, when you're moving them they flap about, but once they've done a cycle, once they're placed, they're fixed. But it wasn't the look I'm going for. If I was looking for a kind of comedic look, softer kind, and that's again where we've then jumped forwards because the hard drive had its moment, so my apologies, guys. Greenhouse just there, but anyway, going back to the lamps, I didn't use them purely because they looked a little bit cartoony, and I didn't feel they fit the style of the building. I think they would look great in any kind of other spooky area. For instance, they would look good in Funland, but I just didn't think they worked here. So just extending the greenhouse a little bit there, and then moving all the walls to coincide. Can't believe I missed it. I lost all that. It was such a shame. But then we're just finishing off the corners, or the edges, should we say, of the back of the building. We don't actually detail the back of the building because that's just going to be show building, should we say, the back of it, all boarded off. Nice thing, I don't know if you've noticed through the trees, I'm not sure if I've done it yet, but you can't see behind the fantasy thatched kind of restaurants and shops basically, which looks quite nice, so that's looking quite good. But yeah, that's pretty much where we got to last night, I think, guys. work, tree work, foliage work, everything now. This was the start of today's work, should we say. About 4.5 hours worth of work, all this that you're going to see in about 20 minutes, or less than that. But a load of rock work, you'll see a lot of it looks quite repetitive, but that's just to mark the edge up, and then as you bring in the other rocks it kind of filters out and makes it look a lot more organic. To the right there you'll see the kind of fantasy pieces with the wagons and so forth. I put those in there to kind of just blend the area in, which you'll see very, very shortly once this all comes together. So you can see I'm just raising the terrain up through the rocks I've placed, just to give it that more natural kind of settled look instead of placed onto. And then again, you know me and my foliage work, crazy with the old bushes, but what it does do is totally blind off the area. So as I was saying about those buildings, the fantasy now, when you're eye level in that central plaza, you cannot see the back of them, all of them, to be fair, with the way I position the trees, which is pretty neat. So again, one thing Johnny picks up on a lot is my terrain painting usage. I kind of do it just around the rocks because it's kind of what you get. You never get grass to rock, so in real life, so why would you get it in the game? So literally just paint around the edge of your rocks, and then it just makes it look a lot more detailed and organic. I don't mean to keep saying organic, but what I mean by it is it just looks natural. So yeah, placing a few more trees in here, just trying to get a bit more colour at the back there, a little bit more depth. Cinematics don't really show that because it's quite a tight area and I didn't do a huge amount, but starting a little bit on the queue here. This came out really well. And again, I'm using I think it's the mist for the smoke effect, not the smoke machine, because the smoke doesn't look quite right at night time, where with the mist it just works perfectly. I think that's actual mist from the water misters, if I remember correctly. So again, with these graves, just making them look a little bit different headstones, tilting them at slightly different angles, using different shrubs, the ivory and so forth, lowering that particular shrub up and down. I was just messing around here. I thought, oh, we'll put a bouquet of flowers down, but then I thought I haven't really got anything to put down as the plastic bit, the sleeve bit, the bouquet, should I say. But yeah, so just we'll put some planters up the top there, and then we start on the outer work here. I'm not sure if I've done the smoke misters yet, but they do come. I haven't actually finished this particular area off down to the lake yet. I've got to do that, but I have finished the top planters off there, the two upstands. They're all finished now, and the area is pretty much done. Maybe a little bit of lighting by the time, but you'll see at the end how that comes through. So here come the misters for you. Not the best mode obviously to see it in, fast forwarded, but it really does look quite, I don't know how you want to put it, mystical, effective. Feels as though you're there, I don't know. And again, just putting some more up on the top there. I'm lowering the height of them as I go around as well, so that the mist is all slightly different heights and so forth, because when you have 20 of them flat out in a row, it just looks like a big film of fog. So have a play about. But I'll leave this with you just for a few minutes, guys. Got about another 10-12 minutes to go of the video. I'll drop back in a minute. you'll notice from the last few minutes of the video, I do flip about from item to item. I don't really just finish off one area because I try and figure out how everything suits together. So that's probably one of my difficult ways of building, but you'll see I haven't finished off the graveyard. I'm going to the lighting now, just playing with things, keeping the senses right, making things feel fresh continuously instead of thinking, oh, I'll get bored of that area and so forth. You kind of blend it all together. I'd probably say that's one of my biggest skills in respect of building, that I can think of all the areas multiply at the same time. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit different to everybody else, I'm not too sure, so you will say. But it just gives you a little bit of an idea of how I go about things. I never focus on one sole thing in particular. You'll see I'll go back to the building in a little while, just change up a couple of bits, add a couple of bits and so forth, smoke to the chimneys and so on, instead of doing it at the time I place the chimneys. So thought I'd have a little go here at just putting some panels in, just try and get some windows to glow, but the problem is they wouldn't sink into the actual window like some of the other windows and give me the right look. And unfortunately with these particular windows, you're unable to place an image in them, so you can't put curtains or anything like that. They're just a glazed finish. And then used a little bit of plaster there to top that particular chimney off, and it worked perfectly. Just trimming up a little bit more with the whole ivy. You'll see I've got climbing the whole greenhouse there, and then that's pretty much, going to be honest with you, the building done. And then really it's just a quick speed build of doing the whole area here, just finishing it all off with gravestones and so forth. I've got a couple with the coffins being left half out of the grave in a second, just under this tree that's coming along, and it's working now. So using the other grave mounds as rubble basically, as well as the actual rubble as well. Putting a couple of spades up, as you saw at the other side as well, that just been dug up. But yeah, I tried planting one in first just like that, but I noticed as I went away it kind of went black, so I thought, okay, we'll just have that one hanging out at a different angle as well. And then again, just finishing up with the gravestones and so forth. So I'm going to leave it there for the minute, guys. I'll catch up with you in literally about 4 or 5 minutes, just say my goodbyes and thank you for watching, etc. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the next little bit of video. So there we are, guys. This is now coming through to nearly be finished. You can see I've done the lower level, working on the top level now. You'll see how strategically I did it. I placed the graveyards first, so I know exactly kind of where I want those along with the rocks. Then you have the planting of the foliage and the trees, and then we've got the kind of bushes, the worn western bushes here. But what it does, it gives the spooky look a little bit more, kind of more definition, just gives it a little extra kind of detail in there for us. And I'm just lowering this plant just down here just to give the brown sections just a little bit of green, should we say. And I'm just moving that because I've noticed people are just standing there and walking on the spot. So we've got the smoke going in now. And then the cinematics coming up, guys. So just want to thank you for watching. If you made it this far, let me know what you like about the video, what you don't, what you do, what you'd suggest could be done better, or if there's something that could be changed, etc. But the cinematics, they look great. So sorry about the cursor in the middle of the screen. It's my bad filming. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, happy coastering all. Speak to you all very, very soon.